Looking at our
So we're joined all the way down from Southeast Georgia, Brunswick, Georgia. My friend Adam Martin, owner of Port City Nutrition, one of the coolest businesses we've had with all their health drinks and shakes and all that. So we thank you so much for joining us. This is for the third time now. This is our entrepreneurship class here at Velma Jackson High School. I've got a room full with me of all young men today, so that's kind of cool. We're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thanks again for joining us despite your delay after you had Helene come through.
yeah, I greatly appreciate the invite, and I was actually talking with my wife this morning, letting her know I had this Zoom this afternoon, and I look forward to this Zoom every year. I really do, whether I'm out in Colorado when we first did it, or here at our new home in southeast coastal Georgia, and Brunswick. I really look forward, and I'm glad we got a class full of young men today. But I always look forward to it because, as you know, I'm a Ridgeland Titan. Graduated from Ridgeland High School. I'm dating myself here, but I was the second class to ever graduate from Ridgeland High School. Back in the day when you had the choice to go to Madison Central or Ridgeland High School. So I was that second class of '05. Every time I come home, it's crazy the the growth I've seen out in that area. So I love to see it, but it's just insane. Like it used to be cow pastures when I went to Ridgeland High School. So
Tell me about it. Now,
it's
now obviously, you guys are doing great out there now. And like did mention, you were before that you were out in Colorado near Loveland. But just tell us because the path to your entrepreneurship has to be heard to be believed. So
yeah,
just give us a little bit of your background because I enjoy hearing it every time myself because just the way you explain it is so interesting.
yeah. So my path to entrepreneurship started in 2014. Um, our very first store was in downtown Jackson. I actually we operate own and operate nutrition clubs, the shakes and the smoothies and the energy teas, and we just like to we keep healthy fun. Like I say, everybody when they think a lot of times when they think healthy, they just think not the fried foods. You got to eat kale and things like that, and I still believe that macaroni and cheese is a vegetable. So I like to keep healthy fun. Like I said, originally from Mississippi, born and raised in the South, so you know we love food. But I walked into a nutrition club actually in Ridgeland, and that's where my wife was actually working in one at the time, and it's where I met my wife and is in a nutrition club. So these things are pretty near and dear to my heart. And it's definitely taken care of our family and provided a lot of opportunities for us as we've gotten to see a lot of the United States. Lived and owned and operated nutrition clubs in three different states, as y'all heard. Um, it's it's the nutrition club is what got me out of Mississippi. And but Mississippi will always be home. I love the great state of Mississippi, and you don't have to get out of Mississippi to be a success story. I know plenty of successful entrepreneurs right there in your own backyard. So as our business mentor actually is still in Mississippi. So we started in downtown Jackson. We opened our very first store in downtown, right off of a Mitt Street. One side was a Mitt, one side was Capitol. So we were in One Jackson Place downtown, we were in the Regions building
Yep.
downtown, right across from One Jackson Place. So anyway, my wife and I got started there, and we opened our first store. I want to say it was we got married in March. I think we opened our store in May of 2016. So real quick, like we kind of we're ready, fire, aim. So we kind of figure it out as we go. We opened our first store up there, and it would be really, really cool if I just said it took off and we made millions of dollars right out the gate and just became uber successful. But that's not what happened. Okay, and that wouldn't make the journey quite as fun, and it wouldn't. And I don't think, and that's great if you have a success story like that, that's incredible. But I just don't think it would mean as much to me as I know the hard work and the grit that it put in. Um, so I we started. It was Capital Nutrition, and we started out, and we had a menu. And now, as you've seen on Google, we have a huge menu, wide variety of different flavors and things like that. We started out with 10 shakes and 3 teas. That's what we started out with in Jackson. That was your option. Um, and you could get anything from a cookies and cream shake to a strawberry cheesecake to chocolate caramel cappuccino. Um, and your tea options, as y'all have seen some of the teas, I'm sure, on Google and the fun names they have. But back then, you could get peach, lemon, or raspberry. That was your tea options. So that's what we were working with at the time. And I'm being honest, we went all in with everything we had in this business because we knew one day that with hard work and dedication that it would take care of our family. But like I said, right out the gate, that's not what happened. As a matter of fact, about 6 months in, I had to come to a decision. I don't have a college degree, first and foremost. Um, my wife has a college degree. She went to school at Northern Michigan University, up about 5.5 miles from Canada. So they she has a college degree. I'm just a old boy from Mississippi that did I my wife likes to say I loitered around college campuses. Um, but anyway, I don't have a college degree, but I knew at the time that this eventually, like I said, through hard work and dedication, if we just stuck with it, that this would one day take care of our family the way it has today. So at that time, about 6 months into owning our own business, which is a dream for a lot of people. A lot of people want to own their own business, right? But it takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. So I made the decision because right out the gate, it was paying the bills, but it wasn't taking. And this was right before we had our son, our first child. So it was paying the bills, and that's about all it was doing. So I had to make the decision to where I went and worked at Georgia Blue in the evening time. So I had me a little side hustle where I waited tables and eventually bartended at Georgia Blue, and that was our survival money. That's how we put food on the table. Um, and what turned into what I thought was going to be about 6 months of working and serving tables ended up being 4 years. Okay, so I would go work our store in the morning time, and I believe we were 7 to 3 were our hours, and then I'd have to be at Georgia Blue at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so and oftentimes not getting off there till 10 or 11 o'clock at night. And a lot of the times, if I'm being honest, y'all, um, the food that went in my belly came from Georgia Blue. If it weren't for my discounted meals and things like that, and our shakes during the day that we had at our nutrition club, I probably wouldn't have eaten much that day. Um, but we just stuck with it, and we had the opportunity. That was 2016. We had the opportunity. So I guess I worked at Georgia Blue for 3 years because late 2019, October, November 2019, we had the opportunity presented to us where that we could move to Colorado, and we jumped on that. We again ready, fire, aim. Didn't have a place to live. We owned a house actually, so we owned a house in Crystal Springs, and we were commuting every day from Crystal Springs to downtown Jackson. About I think it was like 48-minute drive. Okay, but at the time, that's what my family could afford, and that's what we did between rent and our mortgage and all that. That's just where we found our first home, and I love that home. And fun fact, we still have that home today, and that's turned into another little side hustle that we rent out. So
Cool.
we still have that as a rental property now. And that property's been rented since 2019, since we moved.
Wow.
Um, so we jumped on it and moved to Colorado again. My wife had family out there, and we moved out there, and it took about 3 months to get the new store open. Um, But when we jumped on it, I literally say we jumped on the opportunity. We didn't have a place to live. My in-laws were moving out there, and they told us we could stay with them as long as we needed. Okay, so that's what we did. We moved in with them, and I tell you here that it was October or November that we moved out there. We got our store open in January of 2020, and we all know what happened early in 2020. So opening a new business right at the beginning of 2020. Can anybody guess what happened after that? Anybody?
Well, they said COVID, but like, yeah, we know.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a rhetorical
Yeah.
question. COVID
Okay.
happened right after we opened. So yet another hurdle, right? Another hurdle to overcome. At that point in time, people couldn't come in restaurants, and you had to do curbside. So we're opening a business right out the gate, and we get another obstacle thrown in our face. And I've learned over the years, and I'm just giving a brief synopsis of our journey, and then I'll go into what we do. Over the years, I've learned that the obstacles are the way. Um, as you're presented with an obstacle, you can focus on the obstacle, or you can focus on finding a solution and getting over that obstacle. But focusing on the obstacle isn't going to get you past the obstacle. Okay. So what we did is we were like, well, we can't have people inside, but we can do a little drive through, have curbside type deal. So that's what we did. We went to curbside. And I'll never forget our first day in Colorado. It was a whole new concept out there. And we did 12 drinks. Okay. Everybody's like, man, Colorado's real healthy. This is going to take off. We did 12 drinks. Not 12 people. We made 12 drinks. Okay. Um, so I was like, man, here we go. This is it again. I'm fixing to have to go find a restaurant out here at COVID that I'm gonna have to do curbside. I had to depend on tips. This is not gonna be fun. We got out in the community. We got our name out there, and 2 weeks into it, we did 107 drinks. So a lot of boots on the ground, a lot of getting our faces out there in front of people, new to the community type deal. Um, they could tell when I opened my mouth that I wasn't out there because I sounded like a hay bale when I talked, right? Um, so when I opened my mouth, cornbread came out, and they were like, "This boy ain't from out here." So, but like I said, we just got in front of people, and no, I like to say, no matter the business you're in, it's a relationship business. You're not only selling a product, but you're selling yourself as well. And if you're
There you go.
genuine with that and caring about people, the people are going to care about you. Okay. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. All right.
Yeah.
So our store took off out there after about 2 weeks, and again, I said January. We're saying Colorado. It was cold. It was snowing. We were trying to sell ice to Eskimos. Okay, because we do the cold shake. We do ice cold teas. So again, it wasn't the middle of June. It wasn't the ideal time, but we got out there and we got in front of people. And like I said, we were blessed to get it going and get it off the ground. And we were out in Colorado till 2022. April of 2022. We always knew we wanted to be back in the South. We initially moved out there because our 2-year-old at the time, who is now 7, we wanted him to be around my in-laws, my mother-in-law and father-in-law, for a portion of his life, so they could see him and be around him and be with their grandbaby. So that's one of the reasons we moved out there. So we were out there for 3 years, and then we just started kind of looking at the map and seeing where we wanted to get back to in the South, and we looked at anywhere from basically Kansas City, Kansas, all the way to South Carolina. And I'd never been anywhere in Georgia outside of Atlanta a handful of times. So we prayed about it, and we basically, it was like throwing a dart at a map. Never even been to Brunswick, Georgia. Never heard anything about Brunswick, Georgia. And next thing I know, and we decided, like I said, we talked about it in March, and I told y'all we opened in April. Again, ready, fire, aim. We believe in going all. When you're doing something, go all in. Don't just toe dip, because you're never going to get the full results if you're just toe dipping. You're never gonna get to enjoy the pool if you don't just jump in.
Man, you and your quotes, I love it.
Man, I try. I've learned a lot over the years. And that's another thing I'm big on is don't think you know everything, because there's always something new that you can learn every single day, and that's what life is. It's just about learning. And I say it every year. But if you work harder on yourself than you do your job, you can make a fortune. Okay, if you get better every day, when you get better, things get better. I've never seen it fail. Okay, it doesn't get better overnight. It doesn't mean it's easier, but as you get better, things get better. And I like to say it, and I say it every year. If you work to get 1% better every single day of the year, by the end of the year, you've become 365% better. That's all it takes.
Yep.
1% better each day. Okay. So 2022, we decided in a 2 week time period, we found an apartment. Um, I rented this space that we're sitting in today that we've been in for over 2 years. I rented it sight unseen. I signed the lease from Colorado. I'm telling you, faith, baby, faith, jumping all in. Sight unseen. My landlord was like, "Hey, you sure you don't want?" I said, "Look, if it looks like the pictures and everything you're telling me, I want the space." All right, send me first and last month's rent, and it's yours. Perfect. That's what we did. Mailed a check. Um, we're getting 3 days before we're getting ready to move. Our apartment complex that we rented called and told us that we no longer had that lease. And I told our landlord in Colorado that we were moving. I'd given him the 30-day notice. We're supposed to be out in 3 days. I'm supposed to be on the road to Georgia. All right, another obstacle. So what do? Don't focus on that obstacle. Focus on a solution. I told my wife she gets a little chaotic sometimes. She gets frantic. She's not here. I can say that. She was panicking a little bit, and I said, "Look, there's no need to panic. I guarantee you, there's more than one apartment complex in Brunswick, Georgia. Praying there is anyway. I've never been there. So we got on the phone and we found another apartment complex. 2 days later, we've got the U-Haul loaded up, and I'm driving 23 hours to Georgia. We get to Georgia, we get this store opened up, and this is where it gets fun. We've learned a lot over the years. You know, I said we weren't doing a lot in Mississippi. We did 12 the first day, 12 drinks the first day in Colorado. 2 weeks later, we were at 100. Well, we as we learned and as we grew in this business, at this time we'd been doing it. I'd been doing it 8 years. My wife had been doing it 9 years. We opened up in Brunswick, not knowing a soul. Did 140 drinks the first day, and
Wow.
like I said, we learned a lot. We've learned a lot about marketing over the years, how to market ourselves, how to market our business. Again, getting out in the community before we open with flyers and things like that, and we've been blessed for it to take off here.
Yeah, and one
And,
thing you talk about getting in the community, one cool thing you do that I like, you ask the customers what type of flavors they like to see, and you guys try to
yeah,
come up with customer created flavors of your drinks.
yeah, we try to we like to get their input and see what's hot in the market right there, like what they're into, what they're wanting, and we try to keep our menu fresh and fun. We keep it small, not to overwhelm someone, because nobody wants to walk in unless you're an old man. Nobody wants to do a crossword puzzle. And I say, if you look at a daggone menu and you feel like you're doing a crossword puzzle, I'm out. Like, I'm not doing it. If your menu's got 3 pages, I'm out. I don't like to read. I listen to my books. I listen to audiobooks. I don't read. I can't sit there and do that. So if your menu's big, I just can't do it. I get anxious. So, and then we do seasonal menus. Like right now, we had our fall and football menu a couple weeks ago when football season kicked off, and it doesn't really get cold here at all, but there was a little nip in the air. It got down to like 78, and we were like, "Yep, it's fall." Um, so we had the pumpkin spice and all that good stuff, and now we have a Halloween menu out, and next I'll be our Thanksgiving menu, and we run that with our normal menu as well. So always keeping things new and fresh and fun. Um, but my journey, that was a quick overview of what we do or what we've done. I'll tell you a little bit about us. We offer shakes and smoothies and energy teas. Like I said a minute ago, we have the cookies and creams. We have the strawberry cheesecake. We have the pumpkin spice cheesecake. We have one of our Halloween ones is called Gravedigger. It's like cookies and peanut butter and chocolate. We have a candy corn shake that tastes absolutely nothing like candy corn, because I don't eat candy corn or I wouldn't touch it. We have a candy corn shake. We have, let's see, we have a Fruity Pebbles, a Captain Crunch. We have
Wow.
teas that range from right now we have a Jekyll and Hyde for Halloween menu. We have a Southern Belle. We, let's see, we have a Godfather. And all of our teas are going to provide some sort of nutritional value. They're all going to be made with B12, green, black, and oolong tea. The oolong tea gives you the mental clarity and focus. The B12 and the green and black tea give you energy. So that's like our energy tea. We top it off with aloe for absorption and digestion purposes. And then we have a couple of different other options. One we call a beauty drink, and it has biotin and collagen in it for hair, skin, and nails and muscle recovery. Fellas, I can tell you one thing: drink your collagen if you have the chance to, because it helps in aiding in muscle recovery and rebuilding the muscle that we tear down from working out. So don't just think it's for the ladies, all right?
Yeah,
Um,
we got a lot of athletes in here, and I agree.
yeah, as an endurance athlete, because I do all these crazy races and runs and stuff. Um, I use our products in every one of them. I've done a few 50-mile runs. I've done an Ironman. I've done 100-mile race on my feet, not on a bike or a car. And I use our products daily. Not only daily, but I use them when I'm training and all that stuff. So we just offer a great product, and we try to be the best versions of ourselves every day. And really, God gave us two ears and one mouth for a reason. You
Yeah.
listen more than we talk, and you're going to be taken care of. I promise you.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, and I agree with something you said there. And whenever we get done, we're going to be working on presentations, and they get so upset they have to do them about presenting to the class.
yeah,
Now, everybody can't be a public speaker, and we don't expect that. But you said yourself about having to communicate with your market. If you're ever going to be in business, you got to be able to talk to people, no
yeah.
matter how big or small your business is. So, how important is it to learn how to talk now? So, once you get into business, even if you're just an employee, when you get into business, to learn how to sell things and market yourself.
I think I personally think it's more important to listen than to talk, because they're given. Because I'll tell y'all right now, when it comes to selling things, the number one thing a person likes to hear is their name. If you can remember someone's name, it's going to take you so far. Remember their name. That way, I greet probably 85% of our customers that walk in by their name, and that
Wow.
makes people feel great. You and if you can't remember the names, I have nicknames for customers because I couldn't remember their name. I call one of them Jay Breezy because I couldn't remember her name for so long. I'm like, Jay Breezy every time she walks in. Her name's Janet, and I couldn't remember it, so I just went with Jay Breezy. Um, so Jay Breezy gets called, and I holler at her every time she walks in. People love hearing their names. People love to feel good, and when somebody's telling you about what the travel ball team or the football team that their son's on, their daughter's a cheerleader. Next time, say, "Hey, how was Sarah's cheer competition last weekend?" When people realize, again, people don't care how much you know. I can know everything in the world about nutrition. They don't care if people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And by remembering the small things like that, it's going to take you so far in life. It really is. Listen to what they want. They're gonna tell you what they want just in conversation. Um, I'll be honest with you. I can talk to anybody. I can. I'm a talker. I'm not really a salesman. I'm just a talker. But I'm more comfortable talking in front of 2,000 people than I am in front of one person. So, and you'll have some people that would rather talk to that one person one on one, and you tell them they got to go get on a stage. They ain't doing it. They ain't gonna do it. Like, ain't happening. But in my eyes, it doesn't matter if it's one person or 1,000 people. You just have to be genuine. If you're yourself and being genuine and caring, it's gonna take you a very very long way in life. Just in general,
Absolutely.
whether you open your own business or whether you work for somebody or whatever it is, um, it's gonna take you far in life. So, um, but I can tell you a little bit more about myself if you want me to go into my story, not just the business. But
Yeah, yeah. I do have some questions, but yeah, I want to hear this.
so one thing about me is a lot of people think like so for entrepreneur like some people think you have to have money to get started. Or your family you have to have this nest egg that mom and daddy gave you or something like you have to have a trust fund whatever like you have to the business has to be given to you type stuff. That ain't me. Okay. I told y'all I started this in 2014. Um, but let's see, that was in May that I walked in that store in Ridgeland. But in January, so what's that? That's 4 months prior. You telling me to take my hat off?
No, I had one with a hood on. I had to take off.
Oh, I was like, I'll take my hat off if I need. I'm bald. That's why I wear hats. But no, I started this business in May. Um, and this is one of the reasons entrepreneurship is for everybody. Because in entrepreneurship, your past doesn't determine your future. Okay. I had just gotten out in January. I'd been locked up. Okay. So I'd made some bad decisions in life. And then I was headed down the wrong road and made some dumb choices in life. I eventually caught a felony and got locked up and was looking at doing 5 years in the Mississippi Department of Corrections at a lovely place called the Parchman State Penitentiary. So I was headed to Parchman. Okay. Um, I will say that I was locked up for 6 months, and I didn't get a bond or anything like that. I had to wait before I went to court. They held me over. I got my court, got my sentence. They said, Mr. Martin, you're sentenced to 5 years to serve in the Mississippi Department of Corrections, and they sent me on my way. Right. I went back to my cell, and I sat there, and I was like, well, this is it. Like I'm headed down the road for 5 years. I gotta pay for my choices in life, and this is what we're gonna do. Um, a couple weeks later, they came to me and they said, Martin, roll up. And when you hear those words, roll up, it means one or two things. You're going home or you're going down the road. The prison's there to get you, right? So I rolled up, and they took me over. They took me back across the street to the sheriff's office, and went in. And I actually went to the sheriff's, like the actual sheriff's office, like his office. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe they're putting me back in the pod. I don't know. They're just transferring me, whatever they're doing. And he told me, he said, and this is where I think the good Lord, he had other plans for me. He was looking out for me. They said, do you have a family member that can put a landline in their home? And I'm thinking, well, I guess you have to call from the penitentiary. You have to use a landline to call home. I was like, yeah, I guess. I was like, my mama probably does. I was like, I can call them and see why. And they were like, well, Mr. Martin, the Mississippi Department of Corrections doesn't have bed space for nonviolent offenders right now. You're getting kicked out on house arrest. And I ain't even asked questions. I ain't asked if it was a mistake. Like it's kind of like if the bank puts too much money in your account, you're like, let me go ahead and get that out real quick. But they like, I was like, you know what? Give me that phone real quick. Let me call my mama. Hey, mama, can you get AT&T on the out at the house real quick? And sure enough, 3 days later, I was kicked out on house arrest. And so I started my entrepreneurial journey with a ankle monitor around my ankle and had a curfew and all that good stuff. So literally entrepreneurship is an amazing thing. Like I said, your past doesn't determine your future. You don't have to have a silver spoon in your mouth because I sure didn't. I had a great upbringing, but my choices in life took me down a different path, and I had to pay, and I still had to pay for those choices even on house arrest. I had to go to a parole officer and do all that, and had to do that every week for a while before. But I did that for 4 years in my journey. So it really is the best opportunity for anybody out there. So
Absolutely. I do
that's
have
my
some questions. I want to get to as many of
yeah
these as I can. And
yeah.
these are really good. So I'm gonna try to get to all these.
I got
Or as
time.
many as I
Let's
can.
go.
The first one is Cameron Sutton. He's in 10th grade. And he asks, how do you keep up with inventory and how do you decide what you want? How do you decide what you want to sell?
Hope you got a smart wife that can do inventory. No, we actually have a little system here because everything we have is in containers. And what we do is after we empty a container, we have a box in the back. We throw it in the box. Okay. At the end of the day, we go through those boxes. If I have 2 empty containers, I order 3 like that, and that way I'm keeping my overhead. I'm keeping my overhead low, but I'm keeping more than enough, more than I need. You know what I'm saying? And and it is the customer's needs per se is ever changing because we do have a wide variety of a menu. So one day the Pretty in Pink, which tastes like a pink Starburst, may be the most popular thing. We may sell 30 of those, and we may only sell 10 gummy bears, which is one of our loaded teas, is strawberry and watermelon. We may sell only 10 of those. We're like, well, shoot, we got to get this. We got to get the ingredients, our products for the Pretty in Pink. We got to order those now. Get those in. Well, then the next day you sell 80 gummy bears, and you got all this stuff. That's ever changing. So you kind of want to keep it an even keel on that too. But you get in a groove of when it comes to inventory. In the beginning, it's very, very tough. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, heck yeah.
But another good thing about, I'm glad this question got asked because I just thought about this. You sell what you have. If somebody walks in and they're saying, what's your favorite drink today? Or what's your favorite drink? Hold on, let me text my wife. I'm on this call real quick. All right. She was blowing me up. She told me good luck with the Zoom, but then was calling me when she knows I'm on the Zoom. I don't get it. But anyway, if somebody, I sell what I have. If I have a bunch of like my favorite drink's the Blue Hawaiian, which is blue popsicle and pina colada, right? If somebody comes in that day and they're like, "Hey, Adam, what's your favorite drink?" Well, I know I'm running low on that Blue Hawaiian stuff. I'm gonna say, "Man, that Southern Belle is where it's at." And I'm gonna tell it like I'm gonna and the Southern Belle's a great drink. I'm gonna sell what I have, and because 90% of the time the people are gonna buy what you promote.
So, absolutely, and, yeah. and it's crazy how we always say sales is such a mental game. It's crazy how little small things can make such a huge difference when it comes to selling what you have.
Yeah. Like that it's just inventory control is all it is. So
big time. I like this one. This is Tadavian Smith. He's in 10th grade. He's a member of our band here. And he asked, do y'all plan on having any other locations or other types of businesses?
Yeah. So what we do, we help people open these. And we're actually looking at opening a second one ourselves now. But we help people open these, and there's no franchise fee or anything like that. But we do we do get compensated from our corporate company that's based out of LA. We get compensated a percentage of their sales. The corporate company pays us, not the individual owner. So that's one way we grow our business as well, by helping other small business people, small business minded, want to start a business. That's one way we help them is and we have the same base menu, and they're free to make their own recipes if they want, but we have the same base menu. And right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 in the Brunswick area that we've opened since 2022.
Wow.
And then we've got one down in Kingsland, Georgia. We've got one in Jessup, Georgia. We've got one, and these are all within 45 minutes of us. We've got one in Waycross, Georgia, which again, 45 minutes to an hour from us. And then more west of us, we got one in Nashville, Georgia. We got one in Adel, Georgia. We got one in Lake Park, Georgia. All these folks since we got here, and that's another way we're able to build our income is by helping other families get one started as well. So that's
awesome.
And who was it? That was Tadavian that asked that.
Yeah.
Tadavian, what you doing after high school, man? I got you. Nah.
Yeah. He's got a good business concept. They're actually 2 of them are working together on a digital gaming company. So I think they got a good idea on it.
That's awesome.
I just got time for 2 more. This is Shabaka Page. So he's a sophomore, and he asked, "What was your biggest motivation to continue into this type of business once you started it?"
My biggest motivation was to prove myself right.
Wow.
You don't ever want to proving others wrong does nothing. But proving yourself right means the world to you. When I first, we always say you have to have a why. Like, and Like your why has to be stronger than your excuses to quit. So, and your why changes over years as maybe your success grows or whatever. Like, but I'll be honest with y'all. My first why in this business was to be able to pick up the check at dinner when I went out to eat with my dad and his family. Like,
Wow.
and now I can. I don't say this to boast or brag, but now I can basically pick up any check I want and not worry. Like it's but my why has now changed. Now my why is to provide the best education and provide the best life for my family and kids.
That's
And
awesome.
I have a grandmother, my grandmother who's actually in Ridgeland, and my grandfather passed away back in June, and we're able to help her out in ways that I couldn't have done ever before. Um, so that's one family. Family's a big part of it for me now. But in the beginning, it was to prove myself right, and that first why was to be able to pick up that check at the dinner table. Whether like, and then when we're talking like a $60 dinner, like we're not talking anything crazy. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. No, this is a great one to end on, and I love this one. This is Edward Flowers. He's in 10th grade. He's a member of our band as well. And he asked, has what all you've accomplished been worth everything you've had to go through?
I do it all over again, 10 times. I would do it all over again 10 times, man. And I know the future is only brighter. Again, life doesn't get any easier. When you find success, life the bigger the paycheck, the bigger the problems. Like the bigger the paycheck, the bigger the problems. But as we grow in business, the only way we grow in business is we grow individually as people, and we learn again to we get paid to solve problems. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Like so, always in life, the more problems you're facing, know there's something greater on the other side of that. Like we get excited like when we're facing troubles in life. Like we're like, man, not that we wish that we had them, but like we know bigger things are on the other side of that. And I'll end with this, and it's real simple. When you find something you want to do, stick with it. Like stick with it. There's going to be outside noise. There's going to be weed. The weeds are going to try to pull you down like they do the grass. Okay. There's going to be weeds out there. The birds are going to come and eat the seeds that you're planting. Um, Stick with it. There's going to be naysayers. But I'll tell you this, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it.
Wow. You got a great reaction on that one.
So remember that. It's not always going to be greener on the other side of the fence, but you can always get that sprinkler out and water your grass, and I promise you it'll grow. So
That's awesome. Now, and we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us. But real quick before we go, tell us where to find you online so you can see what all you're doing over there in
yeah.
Barclay Square over there in Brunswick.
So the best place to find us is going to be on Instagram. You can find us as Port City BWK underscore shake or Port City BWK Shake Bar. You can find us Port City Nutrition on Facebook, and then you can hit the old Google machine and find us on there under Port City Nutrition, Brunswick, Georgia.
That's awesome. Well, again, Adam Martin, and I look so many great quotes. Just I always run out of ones that I can attribute to you, but it's always a pleasure. We thank you so much for joining us all the way out there in Southeast Georgia. Owner of Port City Nutrition, Adam Martin. Thank you so
Hey,
much.
thank y'all so much for having me, and just always remember you got to take the good with the bad.
All right, talk to you soon, buddy.
Talk to you, buddy. Have a great one.